she ever been this cold before? She struggled to remember a time. Winters out on the streets? Maybe. A gust of Arctic wind could tear right through many layers of thrift store coats. But she thought the stone walls around her were somehow worse. She thought about the sensation in her stomach, and when she ate food a bit too spicy for her constitution, the tunnel had a similar effect in reverse, the cold burrowing in deep rather than the fire expanding outward. Her hands went through stages of numbness. She wondered if frostbite had already begun to blacken her skin. Without light, she couldn't know. At one point, she pulled out her cheap backup lighter and tried to warm her fingers. Trouble was, she couldn't work the flint wheel. She wished she hadn't lent Kelsabeth her good one. Frustrated, she fumbled the shitty plastic thing back into her coat pocket, groaned, and continued to crawl. Her tongue went pins and needles numb in her mouth. For fuck's sake, she thought. She thrust the head forward again. It landed on the tunnel floor with a heavy thunk and a few bright orange sparks. Wriggling up behind it, she heard two echoes return. First one from the front, and then behind. They've sealed off the tunnel, she thought. I'll freeze to death in here.
Welcome back to Visited by Voices, and we are at week 5 of the Reader's Roundtable for Divide by Zero, and we're covering pages 245 to 299 today. It's going to get a little wild. There are going to be lots of spoilers ahead and discussion of said spoilers. I'm just going to say that because probably none of this podcast is safe for you if you have not gotten to this point. So, also, I have to love the air raid siren at the beginning of the show because, like, immediately I'm just thinking, is this the part where the Pussycat Dolls come in going like, boys call you sexy, and you don't care what they... No. Sorry. But then I love, then it's also like, it segues right into Jurassic Park theme. And then we get Lorne Headroom.
Lorne Headroom.
Yeah. Yes. Or Zordon. Lordon.
Yes. Big Max Headroom guy. It's the first reference I've been able to make for Max Headroom. So.
Okay. We just need to find a way to do like we need to find a way to like put Lorne's face in like a Max Headroom type situation.
We need to get him on a Coke bottle. For a short-lived show, Max Headroom had a Coke deal, which is pretty awesome.
Like the soda?
The soda, not the drug. Okay. Maybe both.
Speaking of sodas, have you guys tried that pink Coke that's come out with the Rosalia?
I tried the Peeps Pepsi is my most recent thing, which I didn't dislike.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I'm a marshmallow guy, though. I know friend of the show, Pizzal, he hated it, but I liked it.
Oh. Yeah, the Rosalia kind of tastes like a pina colada Coke, though, which is weird. Like, you can definitely pick up some hints of coconut. I thought I'd hate it. It's actually pretty good. Still miss the Coke Starlight, though.
I don't think we get anything like that in the UK. The amount of flavors you get compared to what we get, it's just like off the scale. It's like we get bare minimum.
Yeah,
you guys gotta have Peeps, though.
Which?
Yeah, you have Peeps.
Peeps? What's that?
Those marshmallow chickens and bunnies.
I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't think so.
We've
only got like 4 sort of like fast food restaurants in the UK. You know, McDonald's, Burger King, Papa John's, and Domino's. It's pretty much it.
Oh wow, we're gonna have to send you some Peeps, Mike. Some American culture there.
I know, right? Peeps and Peepsy. Yeah, I know this is actually like a podcast about a book and not like junk food. But,
let's just go the whole show and talk about Peeps.
Yeah, but further because you did mention friend of the show Pizzal, friend of the show Mr. Bombastic. It's his birthday today, so if you drop him some love on the Twitters or wherever else you might be following him. Yes. But anyway, we've got a pretty full panel today. I'm really excited. Flesh Wound features Dan the Man, as always. How's it going, man?
It's going. It's good to be here. It's always weird to stream with people this early in the day.
You're not really weird. I'm not firing on all cylinders most of the time, but this is still a little bit It was a little early for me, even.
Yeah. Well, the book heats up, so it'll wake you up now.
Yeah, that is true. And also with us, and Jeff the intern. I mean, that's just your full name, man.
That's right.
How have you been?
That's legal. Good to be here.
Sweet. And making his triumphant return, Mike, the real Fifth Beatle.
What's up, guys?
We're
Good to be
glad to
back.
have you here.
Yeah.
So I have more like additional business because I got this weird package in the mail. And it's got some sort of a cat on it, I guess. It says it's from Perihelion, though, so let's open it on the air. Ooh, it's my birthday.
You got cats. That's brave.
Yeah, the cats are going to have fun with this. Ooh, I'm going to be picking it out of their shit for weeks. Oh, wow. Hey, I have a Kelsey Beth action figure. Look at this. This is pretty fucking sweet. But it's like, now that I've gotten to the point in the book where I am, I'm like, an action figure. Like, is she the one doing the actions? We'll find out.
Yeah, right. Which Kelsebeth is that?
Uh-huh. That's why I was like, wait a second. I see what you did there. Greetings from Perihelion. Very cool. I do love a nice postcard. It'll give me a reason to mail things again. And the Divide by Zero original soundtrack.
Yes.
Now I just need to find a player.
That's exactly what I said.
Yep. That is great. I'm glad that there's the parental advisory explicit content, but what I love even more is the Kmart sticker.
If you want to enjoy that, I did create a YouTube playlist. So if you don't have the retro technology, you can listen to it that way.
Ooh, more confetti. Oh shit, I'm sorry, Lucy. I think I spooked her a bit. Please don't eat that, okay? Oh man, that is very neat. That was a great Moxie Boxy. Because we can't call it a swag bag since there's no bag involved. All right. Well, I am looking forward to checking out that playlist later.
So I guess every box has a different picture on the outside then? Hold on, let me...
Where? Oh, I thought I was special.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
You got one too? Man.
Uh-huh. I saw Lauren yesterday. I mean...
Don't dox the address.
Oh, yeah.
Oops, sorry. I didn't realize it was on there. But yeah, the picture is from... If I can cover it.
Yes.
It's a picture from...
I have that on the front of mine too. I love that. And I was thinking to myself, dang, Lauren's really good. Did he draw that too? Because it doesn't look like his normal style. But, you know, I probably should have asked beforehand. Anyway. Well, thank you, Mr. Lauren, for the nice gifts. We do appreciate them.
Yes. Super cool.
Very,
all right.
very cool.
Wow, this is going to be a lot to tackle. Because this chunk was... I mean... It was a quick read, but so much was happening in it. And I feel like I'm going to have to, like this section, I would have to go back and just touch on because I know I've missed something that's vitally important. So we're starting off with this last section, the Kelsebeth job. And we've got Raleigh, who we have more of her backstory, which I was really interested in. And it explains everything about her personality. You know, like her mother died during childbirth because her mother was muling some cocaine for her deadbeat boyfriend. And he named her Andrea West Nelson. Andrea I can't say the last name because I'll butcher it. Was it? Yeah, Andrea del Castagno, the Italian painter, and Wallace West, the sci-fi writer. So that was really cool. But then no.
Go
on. But then her father just assuming that's her father, sells her in the back of a magazine, and yeah, that was rough. And then I'm just, it's not outright confirmed, but I'm just thinking of all the horrible things that probably led to, and how damaged she is as a person, and how that does lead her to get into those abusive relationships later on. You know, just not discriminating against men or women, just like, hey, are you an abuser? Cool, let's shack up for a while. And it's so sad. So,
definitely getting into the misery porn section with poor Raleigh. Yeah, I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, but I was very, very intrigued at this point with her. And like I said, I'm trying to follow here to make sure I don't get ahead of the pages. But yeah, very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. I think he did a good job writing her.
Yeah.
But I like that it doesn't, it's not just a full chapter of flashback or something like that. It's still very like interspersed really well with what's her crawling through the tunnel, right? Like this kind of descent vibes moment, even, or you know, bitter cold beneath the earth. But she's kind of forced to ruminate on all this crap while she's holding the head of
the head of Jebediah Springfield.
Yeah, Jebediah Springfield.
Yeah. She was previously hanging out in the old house.
Yeah.
And broke off part of the faucet in order to break off the head of Virgil. Virgil Dead O'Lark at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like, then she's having to use that not just to get through the tunnel, but she's found out that they've barricaded her in. So,
World's Darkest Weekend at Bernie's sequel.
Right.
Yeah, but you have to improvise, which improvise bitch is a theme that comes up later, and she just uses it to beat down the door, which, hey, well played. And there are only 2 guards anyway. So she dispatched of them pretty easily.
Yeah, I've just got images of like this Virgil Meadowlark's head as like a bowling ball. He's gone from being this like iconic figure, you know, this kind of like elusive, mysterious figure, and he's been resorted to little more than a bowling ball used to break through someone.
Well, we could give him a little, like, maybe if we equate it to curling instead of bowling, it'll give it like a little bit more respect, right? Because that's kind of, I had more of a curling idea, like those old cartoons back in like the early 90s, late 80s with the hippos. I think they were hippos, and they would do like little curling across ice. I know nobody's picking this up. It's fine. I'm sorry. It's just again, weird memories being stirred up by this book. So then we move on to where Green is, and I love the chapter title, Cookies in the Bread Box, because I want to just incorporate that into my everyday vocabulary for when somebody's crazy. It's like, man, that dude's got cookies in the bread box. Even though cookies in the bread box is logically correct, because that's how you would keep them from getting stale. But it sounds fabulous. So, and I know that part, the cookies in the bread box, that's just a reference to Green and his grandmother, because she used to keep the cookies there. And, they would play that game where she would like, okay, I have 6 cookies, and when you leave, I better have 6 cookies still. But it's like, wink, wink, hey, you can have half of these, which I thought was very cute. And this is also interspersed very well, very much like Raleigh's, right? With the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Cat's eating the stuff, isn't he? Told you, bad idea.
Guess whose fault that was? Mine.
Very bad idea.
I've never been known for my good ones. But yeah, so the truing, which I guess is not really like a lobotomy after all, it didn't work on him, and it's mentioned later that there's like a conducting rod that's inserted into your brain, which I was like, fucking cringe. That's horrible. But I guess it would explain why people's eyes get off kilter. So, but it didn't work on him. And I'm kind of still in the camp that it's because he got too concussed by Neil before they brought him to the church. But then somebody in Perihelion, I can't remember who, says, no, that's not the case. It's like, because he wasn't compatible with the Traveler. Which I was like, Gozer? So what did you guys think about, like, why he couldn't, like... I mean, don't spoil it for me. I haven't read the rest of the book yet, but...
Yeah, I'm trying
Talk
hard
about
not
why?
to. I'm trying hard not to. I'm trying to stay exactly where you are. So, hot tag to somebody who probably won't ruin it for her.
This has been like every conversation I've had with Chris in the car when I'm reading. I'm like, well, what about this? What about that?
Wait, can you say the question again? My stream froze for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because the truing didn't work on Green. And I think it's because of the concussion, but they're saying that in the book, that's not why. I mean, what were your first thoughts when you saw that it didn't work? Like, because I was like, oh, concussion.
Yeah, trauma. And trauma. It even says his head is broke, right?
Yes.
Or tries to. He mushes it
My
up.
head broke. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking through my notes to see if it was revealed in this section what it was exactly, because I thought it was, but I don't want to say it if it wasn't.
Yeah, and and he's hanging out still tied up to the church pew. This is after that they've already taken Kelsebeth away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, it's right around here when it's like, okay, I got this. I'm keeping pace with it. And then chapter 31, it's like that happens, and I'm like, well, I'm gone. I got nothing.
Yeah, I was a bit like, chapter 31, it kind of threw me. I was thinking, so she's been taken by the Perihelions, and next thing we know, she's like in a van, and I'm like, how do we get from here to here? I was scratching my head a little bit, and obviously it gets revealed as the chapter goes on. But yeah, I was kind of a little bit lost at that point, because I was expecting Kelsebeth to be, in the possession of the Perihelions, and the next thing you know, Neil's there with him, they're driving away, and I'm like, so I was like, I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, because I think there's just this total subverting of expectations, since, with a lot of cults, you kind of understand, hey, they're just taking a bunch of regular people and coercing them into acting on behalf of the cult, right? So it's like, okay, makes sense. Okay, you're doing some sort of weird lobotomy thing to me. It's mind control. Okay, nope. No.
I've said it in previous weeks, but there's really no way to predict where this goes. And I thought you would have been there by now, but it's a pretty big reveal in this section. My notes might be a little bit off because I think I'm rewinding a bit to where I think you're at, but yeah, it is a little bit confusing for a little bit before you arrive at a certain place.
Well, I think that's also, you're having to adjust what you've been used to in the book as far as the environment into something completely different. So Kelsebeth, basically, she's wakes up in ash storm,
Okay.
and yeah. Oh, wait, before we get there, I forgot to mention this. When Green was talking about waking up like from that failed lobotomy, he was like, is this hell because of the red and yellow lights? And I was thinking, no, brother, it's Hulkamania.
I wanted Green to put somebody in a yes lock at some point.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And so, similarly, Kelsebeth is coming to consciousness in this completely different landscape. And, all I was thinking of is this the part where she gets the soul stone? I know, like, Lauren's like, I'm just going to kick her off of this entire roundtable. Sorry for making the MCU joke. Had to do it. But so it's like she's there and Neil's there, and Neil leads her to this little, like, bomb shelter area. Was it part of the library, I believe?
I think
Or
it
It was beneath that, but had been brought to the surface by some massive quake or event.
Yeah, and that's where it's like, because we've already kind of established the whole thing as above, so below, that what was below in the caverns, like in the tunnel area that Raleigh's in, it's a copy of everything above, or rather, above is a copy of the below. At this point, I can't really tell. I'm not sure which way it's going. So now we have this other area which is set apart from both of those realms, and she meets Reverend Kant's daughter Ellie down there. But it's an Ellie that essentially, because the time moves differently in this other place, she feels like she's aged 7 years, but she's only been gone a few months. So, like, last we saw of Ben and Ellie, they were busy taking out their dad, right? They murdered him on live TV. But in this world, Ben has been dead. Like, he committed suicide. And, you know, it seems like everybody who went to join Perihelion and went through the truing, you know, the full truing, where it's like they have to do the not quite a lobotomy.
The eye thing.
Yeah, the eye thing. So it seems like it switches their memories with like a shell up on the surface. I don't know. Thoughts?
Yes.
Yep.
Doppelgangers.
Yeah, I'm trying not to get ahead of it, but
I think we're into the reveal of it now.
Yeah.
So even in let's go back to chapter 30 for a second. That's Green's chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do say, so as the Perihelions address him initially, they're talking to him differently, apologizing. And then when he asks a question, kind of a stupid question, she goes cold, says, "Oh, don't worry. I'm sorry this is happening to you. We'll try again soon." And I think in this chapter as well, they say it didn't work because he isn't who they said he was. And because he arrived so much later than everyone else, they didn't associate him with the original threat.
Yeah, but it's like that shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter if he's Miles Conrad or not, because it's like, well, it worked on Neil and Kelsebeth. So that's kind of like, well, I mean, that's why I'm still on the side of concussion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's right. I forgot about that part about them mistaking him. But yeah, I mean, that wouldn't, you know.
Did you ever think multiverse at any point with this book?
No, multiverse wasn't on my list of things. I was thinking, you know, some sort of time travel. But what I keep coming back to is like this single point in the bomb shelter, right, where I guess previous Perihelions, after they get trued, they have the conductor set up in their brain. They get transported into this, into this other realm, this ash and dust hellscape, right? So I lost my train of thought. Anyway, no, got it. But there's a part in here where Ellie is. I'm going to bring it up because it was really interesting. Let's see.
While you're looking for that, one of my favorite things about this, especially in the first part of this section, is the some of the world building stuff that Lauren's doing, right? Because we're kind of starting from scratch again, and now all of a sudden we're in a brand new place that's definitely not here. So that would be the easy way to do that, which would be lazy and not good, would be to just info dump and kind of describe everything that's going on. But instead we get the disgusting pockets of methane and stink, not by describing what it smells like, but by showing that you have to break your nose just to function. Or the van that they find has different symbols on it, right? Subtle things there, but world building done right, I guess, is the way to describe it, right? Subtle details that are told through the actions and the characters rather than just expository, even dialogue, which is great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that too.
And we get some of that subtle crossover with Blue Eel as well.
Yes.
Oh,
the
there are
first
two. There
reference.
are
Yeah.
two instances of this, and I got super excited. Like I had to go ferret out the Blue Eel book just to confirm.
Mhm.
Because they're talking about eel's blood briefly,
Yeah.
and then the other one is mentioning that when Chidima is on the road to rescue Kelsabeth, asking if she should trust a gentleman named Hakab. But that wasn't the interesting part. The interesting part was his father, who Kelsabeth worked with, and that was I thought it was Simon. Lauren said it's Seaman, so we're just going to call him Seaman. But his father, Seaman, uh, he was the one that Branson Tarraco bought the gun from in Blue Eel, and I was like, "Fucking A! That is a great fucking Easter egg." I was stupidly excited because
I totally
you
missed
don't
that.
see that. You don't see the SZY very often, so when it sticks in your head, because his name is spelled like SCYMON.
That is a good catch. I totally missed that.
Oh, dude, it was delightful. I was like, what's going on with this? So many crossovers. So I did find that passage that Ellie's talking about. Let's see. Told me that everything exists inside a single space. It's not big or small. None of those words matter. We live inside it with everything else. Our senses are extremely limited. We can only see and hear and feel very little of reality, a single point of reference. Our brains decipher what they can. That's how we get time and space and the idea of things being physical. And when I read that at first, I thought she was talking about that specific area, that bomb shelter, like it kind of being a surviving remnant of reality, so to speak. And it kind of reminded me of like the structure. It was like it reminded me of like Schrodinger's black hole, everything that is and will be, which, at that point I was thinking, okay, well, you have potential energy, so that can be used to get out of there, I'm sure. But then it just kind of like reminds me of like everything being under pressure, like probably existing like a black hole, like you would in a black hole if it didn't immediately spaghettify you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know what you guys thought the first time you read this, because I had to read it a few times.
It was definitely a what the fuck moment for me. The moment Kelsabeth wakes up, I was, because knowing Lorne, when he killed Kelsabeth, I was like, all right, well, she's dead. Good, right? I know he likes to kill his protagonists, and you got me, man. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I thought, this is Raleigh's show now.
Right, yeah, exactly. So from the moment we get a chapter where Kelsabeth wakes up, and I was like, all right, what's going on? So yeah, it definitely got me.
Yeah, and I was not expecting this to be like I wasn't expecting another dimension or another universe. I was thinking it would probably be something along the lines of like, I was thinking it might have been, what's below the below? Like what's what's under the old house below? What's in there? But it didn't go down, it went sideways. Much like this entire mission has gone sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's setting up that big, epic action finale. And, starting out with this book, I thought, okay, this might be a little bit more grounded, psychological, and we sort of arrived to this Hollywood blockbuster portion of the book that I can really, just so vividly see in my head. I probably going back a lot further than this, but I mean, I finished at this point in one sitting the entire thing because I was just, whoa, wait a minute. Not that Lauren wouldn't kill off his lead character, but that when she woke up, I'm like, well, wait, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
It was pretty wild, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting close to where we're stopping here, but the Lady B stuff in the church, that happened for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that whole portion, you feel like you're watching a wrestling match. It's just like, oh, kill him, come on, take him out.
I like the
Pure chaos.
church in the church,
Yeah.
with the townspeople like trying to break down the barricade after Raleigh has gotten free of the cave, and she's off to save Green now with her giant ass pickaxe. That was
Right.
I mean, hey, it's a good idea, but it's interesting because nobody's gotten a gun yet. I mean, we see one gun in Perihelion, and it's in the hellscape, the ash hellscape, and it seems to be quite old too. It's a flintlock, so
Yeah.
Where you can't really use it.
Yeah, but more modern, I think they said it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because I feel like there's still a lot of weird. I mean, definitely besides Ellie saying that she's aged 7 years based on how her circadian rhythm is. I have to wonder. It's like the rest of time must be extremely strange if you spent enough of it down there, because there's also a part where Neil is leading Kelsebeth through that to the bomb shelter, but she looks over the side of something, and it's like a glitchy scene, like it looks like a video, and then it kind of just restarts itself. So I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, cataclysm on loop.
Huh?
It's a cataclysm on loop.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, and I think that was sort of reiterated when they go down further into the basement of the bomb shelter, and there's sort of the magma trying to break through. And I was wondering if that also is just going to be one of those things that's constantly on repeat. It's kind of like the fake fireplace, but just more intimidating. I don't know. I'd be okay with a big fireplace if it was just like about like watching like magma flows or lava flows, excuse me. Magma's inside the earth.
The world's coolest lava lamp.
Oh man, I miss lava lamps. Those things were really chill to look at.
They still exist. I've got one over there.
Oh yeah.
They're still a thing.
Yeah, of course they exist. I just, I haven't had one since I was a teenager, so.
It's time to change that, Sam.
Lava lamp for every room. That's gonna be my like peak white bougie lady shit. Is like, I just want a lava lamp in every room. Is that so wrong?
Yeah. Make for cool lighting. You need a lot of them. But...
There's gonna be black lights and beaded curtains. It's gonna be the interior design done by Spencer's Gifts. Oh man. So I think we should also talk about the thing that led to this multiverse even like really existing, right? Which there was the asteroid, and it's always an asteroid. Killed the dinosaurs, split off another universe. But I was trying to figure out a time frame for the asteroid that hit, because like I guess the frequency of the vibration just destroyed all laws of physics at that point. And it seems like it took place. I can't tell if it took place like right, it took place right when the earthquake in Badger, Wisconsin happened in 78, 77. Or if that was the one that happened, or if it happened during the newscast, right? But like the asteroid wouldn't be hitting like Earth Prime during the newscast. It would be hitting alt Earth, right? At that same time. Because I was thinking, well, why would Virgil Meadowlark have been like flash fried or flash fossilized? So I'm still trying to work out that the concept of that right there, because it's like, well,
yeah, my interpretation of it was real Virgil was doing the newscast, while other Virgil was sitting on his front porch, just enjoying life. The asteroid hits, and they swap, and
okay.
So real Virgil gets fossilized. All of a sudden, now he's on the porch, and that's who Raleigh's cruising through the tunnel with now. While other, I need to come up with a better name for that, some kind of Star Trek reference or something. But
Mirror universe.
Yeah, Bizarro Virgil. He's he wakes up kind of in the middle of the newscast. I don't think that's said explicitly anywhere. That was just how I kind of put the timeline together in my head.
Yeah, and I mean, because like that, I think that makes more sense than the asteroid being the thing that maybe caused the earthquake in Badger, because just could just be like a one-off thing. But yeah, that was wild, because now I'm constantly having to think about, well, if it's like this on here, it has to be like this over here, right?
Well, what a fun concept, though, that the idea that a certain frequency of vibration ends up causing this overlap of the two worlds, and it's well executed as well, because it ties back to some of the other things that he's been setting up along the way, right? The whole idea of hitting the eye thing, right? Like hitting it with a little hammer, little jeweler's hammer to make it vibrate.
Yeah, it's sort of like on a micro level, because we've already seen the power of vibration on the Earth itself, splitting it into a different universe. So the hammers are just kind of doing that, but to you, and making a doppelganger. Also, like, I really enjoyed what I enjoyed about this is, like, it kind of reminded me of Jordan Peele's Us, which I wanted to like Us, but it was not explained. There's like really no explanation on all the genres were stuffed together in that movie. This kind of reminds me as if like I was like watching Us, but they bothered to explain anything. And I was like, okay, I can get behind this. I'm on board.
This is much better than Us. If I'm making a pitch for this book, it's much more compelling story than Us, in my opinion.
You don't want to see the Perihelions doing Hands Across America?
I would not expect that ending.
No, probably not. But they kind of, I think the reason I thought of Us was when Ben and Ellie, like below Ben and Ellie, when they become, hey, we're going back out into the real world, bye, they go and they kill their father. And I mean, that kind of brought me back to what happened with some of the evil doppelgangers in Us, which maybe I need to tackle that movie again.
We'll have to ask Lorne if he was just sitting in the theater a few years ago and saw that ending and was just like, shit, and just started ripping his papers up.
I have a feeling he didn't go to the theater for that one. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know what I'm going to do now.
Yeah, and I thought at this point in the book, right, I've already dealt with this completely different universe, which things are already fucking weird. But now there's an extra universe. Oh, and now there's a fucking bull that can communicate with you. Like, it works as the conduit between the worlds. And I mean, yes. I'm not going to say it right. It's called an 8.
Yeah.
8.
I read it as 8.
Wow. I tried looking that up in Google and just says it's an abbreviation for "Are you there?" And I'm like, well, that's appropriate for the book.
I took it as like the number 8.
Yeah.
If you turn it sideways is infinity.
Ooh.
And when you're making up fantasy names, you have to put Y's in.
It's the rules.
Right.
Like, Lauren wouldn't have gotten it published if the Y's weren't there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
I mean, honestly, I think Kelsebeth is probably missing a few Y's. He probably could have ratcheted up the sales a bit if he put them in.
Instead of Riemann, it was Ryman.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, what is happening? Because, so this is how, it's just like a weird carrier pigeon kind of thing, right? Just so it will, communicate messages out into the, It works as like, I guess we can just call it above ground at this point, because it works in Perihelion. Ellie's the one that sends Kelsey Beth the message about looking in the Don Quixote book, right, for fives. And initially, I think it was implied that was Raleigh, but I didn't get that impression. I was like, that's not Raleigh. And I was thinking to myself, Raleigh doesn't read books. Now, I'm not trying to be a bitch. It's just like, that doesn't seem like like Raleigh seems more of the lines of like the spontaneous scrapper, right?
Yep.
So
there's, at this point, if you go back towards the very beginning of the book, I don't know if you picked up on that yet, but there's some stuff that at this point led me back to the heist portion at the beginning. If you think back to some things.
With Green?
Green, yeah.
Yeah. In chapter 34, I took some notes for that to remind myself which one it was. Mm-hmm. The waking up next to the girl's head, which is something the prisoner says, but then Green is remembering it now because it's something that it's part of the whole story with Slow-Mo.
Mm-hmm. And I knew he was involved in the brick throwing incident. I thought he was his cousin at first, and he was just saying it was his cousin, but no, he was also there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, was it Jalen that woke up with the... Oh, yeah, it was Jalen that woke up with the girl's head in his bed. So Green's cousin. Okay.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Oh, weird. And it's like, again, there's also that the callback not just to like Hayden's court, right? The callback of like, you know, hold on, I have to flip through this. I mean, I took notes, obviously. What is it? Can't outrun yourself, which is what he heard the inmate say. And it seems like that's kind of like still a manifestation of some guilt, but it just kind of harkens back to the fact that our main cast of characters, they've tried to outrun themselves in various ways. None of them feel like they have a place in time, right? They're all like characters out of time, not running out of time, but like outside of the time stream, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, and then this is also, again, this is more of the same kind of construction that I enjoy, where we're having a flashback, but things are also moving along in real time at this juncture, since Green is still tied to the church, and right around now is when Raleigh is breaking him free. But and you know, I was surprised with like Lana and Mari, because I thought that since they were doing like cleaning, Green mentions Lana, I think, had taken his laundry. I was thinking that they weren't perihelions. And if they're not perihelions, I mean, they must be making good money for that kind of stuff.
All that brain juice.
I know, right? They're not in it for the money. It's just the brain juice that they want. That sweet, sweet brain juice.
It's a hot seller in the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I loved like Green going like, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it sounds important.
Oh, the little Greenisms, just, you know, the little asides, because it's like he still doesn't really know what to call. He still can't remember the name of the perihelions.
Mm-hmm.
Just adding, like, just constantly insulting them by, it's like he can't even remember their names. It's great.
You're getting to, there's going to be some heartbreak for you and some really, really cool stuff coming up.
Why would you do this to me? God.
Well, you know, with Lauren, there's going to be some heartbreak coming up in the story. But yeah, we're leading into the big siege at this point.
Yeah. And I was getting kind of anxious, because I was like, Chidima, where are you? Like, I'm getting a little worried. Haven't seen you show up in this chunk for a while. You know, and so she's, you know, on the way to talk to Seaman's son about, well, something. And she's on an airplane. She's not a really big fan of flying. And that's when Kelsabeth decides to like communicate with her through. I wonder if it doesn't seem like Chidima's really asleep though, right? So it doesn't seem like it's a dream, but maybe it has to be like kind of a different level of consciousness, if that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. I just take it as she's in your head all of a sudden.
Yeah, which it's like, here, hold on to this bull and think real hard. Which I was like, that's fucking awesome. But I'm also like, I have no idea where anything's going anymore. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then we get a little bit more of Chidima's backstory because she's communicating, like Kelsabeth is communicating with her kind of like set in the past when they first met. And Kelsabeth, decided to take Chidima as payment, from the trafficker instead of what would have been agreed upon. And I definitely got the impression that this was kind of like Kelsabeth didn't seem to realize that the dude was a trafficker and just was like, I'm going to have her instead of the money. Let me just get her right over here. So, and then Chidima sees that, she's not wearing exactly the same crisp white dress that she was on that fateful day. Now it's like she's covered in ash and gray sweater and like, man, you look super old. I'm like, also, you know how we were all talking about like, how old is Kelsabeth? Maybe like 40s, right? Early 40s. And I'm like, Jesus, you're going to like stay down there for 2 weeks and look 60. So, and what did y'all think about that section?
I loved it. Like I said, it just keeps building. You've got some gory bits coming up, some heartbreaking bits coming up.
I've already like the rods in the eyes though, or brain, excuse me.
Oh yeah, the Fulci moments. I think I said this on a previous show, but anything eye related can still even make me squirm a little bit.
Yeah,
So
same way. Yeah,
hammer meets nail. You twitch a little bit. Makes my eyes water up just thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Perihelions were just missing. Like they just didn't get the gauge of the conductor rod right, and it's like maybe that's why. I bet if somebody had actually like been able to size things a little bit more precisely, Perihelions wouldn't have like a town full of like lazy eyes. It'd be easier to infiltrate outside of Perihelion. But and back to the church scene where Raleigh is breaking out green. Like, I really kind of was on the edge of my seat. So I'm like, please don't let Raleigh die. Please don't let Raleigh die. I can't deal with that right now. After we just read like all of her horrible backstory, I'm like, no.
And there's so much going on in that whole section or that whole scene. I mean, right? They're banging at the door. Green's trying to break free. She got to break his thumb to get it out of the bindings.
He volunteers. It's cool. He's
right.
It's been through enough. A broken thumb's not too bad.
Yeah.
Kind of mild.
I don't think he cares about a thumb. I think he's just like, no, just let me just get me out of here.
Mm-hmm.
I would be fine with that. I would definitely be like, no, take the thumb.
So Sam, since you're still reading along, I assume you haven't gone ahead. Where do you think it's going now? Like, if you had to predict the next section, where do you think we will end up?
I don't know, but Yuri and Chidima, they better fucking hurry it up, because I'm trying to figure, because Raleigh and Green are short on time. The townsfolk is about to break down the door of the church. Again, I mean, just town full of lazy eyes. This shouldn't be that difficult. But, what do? Do you drop a nuke on Perihelion? I mean, obviously, probably don't, because I wonder if it's... Because it's like, if you killed all the Perihelions, would that all also just wipe out the people in the Hell world? because that conductor rod's tying them together. So, you know, it's like, because those are their original bodies above ground. Because Kelsebeth doesn't have the tattoos when she's in the hellscape.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you killed Kelsebeth's physical form above ground, when she's still, you know, since there's nothing to tether the conductor rod, right? Between, you know, there's nothing to tether the conductor rod. Wait a second. The conductor rods wouldn't give them lazy eyes, right? But if that's their physical form up above, do you have to put the rods in both people's eyes? Is that how you make the connection? It's like you guys get to see the gears slowly turning in my head right now, just trying to come to conclusions. But it's sort of like as above, so below. So if you kill above, do you kill below, even though below is not actually below? Below's off to the side.
Well, here's an interesting question since you're not there yet. Who do you think's left standing at the end?
Well, Kelsebeth. I'm gonna be brokenhearted, I guess. Probably don't need Neil. Like, Neil's pretty happy being in Hell World. It's sort of just like, being back in those war-torn areas that he used to frequent, So it's like at least he's got stuff to do, right? But
he's gonna open a cafe and just...
Probably doesn't have any clocks to fix, though.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I think Kelsebeth is going to be still standing. Chidima better still be standing. I'm going to, be pissed if she isn't. And hopefully Raleigh. And I'm probably going to get my heart broken with Green getting killed, aren't I? Don't answer that. I want to be surprised. I'm desperately trying not... I love how it's, okay for me to spoil things for everybody listening, but nobody can spoil anything for me. Not a double standard at all.
Well, I believe probably one more section now. I don't remember exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So you'll be able to knock this out basically whenever you want now.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like we're finally pretty much at the end of the book. So it's like next week is is our final chapter.
Final chapter. He needs to do that graphic for the show.
All right. It's not a journey, dude. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I think that kind of wraps up for this section. And yeah, I think that's kind of where we are. We're Green and Raleigh haven't figured a way out of that church yet. And they got the town beating at that door. But I am this was a fucking wild ride. It just, it just didn't go fucking anywhere I thought.
You have to record yourself reading just so you get a reaction you can play on the show. That might be cool.
Oh my god. I should just read it out loud and then be like, oh my god, really? No.
You won't have to wait long.
Did you guys have any favorite parts of this section?
Just the whole thing, to be honest. I mean, never would have thought we would have ended up where we were at. I didn't think, this was going to be a multiverse kind of story going into this, which I think is also... This book, I think, has broad appeal, I think, to a lot of people. It's tense, it's messed up in parts, but I think there's... Again, hopefully you're not watching at this point if you haven't read it, because you would have had a lot spoiled. But that's been my general pitch to get people to read this. It's just where you start, which is fascinating. Mm-hmm. You're never gonna guess. I mean, there's no way it's I've read this a million times. It's a very unique, one of a kind book that I think everybody should grab. And I've got my hardcover over there, which is beautiful. So
the hardcover is fantastic. I had a chance to see my friend's copy yesterday, compared to my soft cover. Awesome. The formatting, even better in hardcover.
Yes.
I'm kind of jealous.
That's cool. I can't wait to get a hardcover version of it soon.
Yes. But you have both options. You can get the paperback, however you want to read it.
Oh, I have to mention that this was also one of those chunks of the book where it's like after I finished reading it, or well, actually, I hadn't even finished reading it. This was about halfway through, right? I had that same anxiety attack where I get all cold and I'm like, I got to put on my robe. It's only 75 degrees outside. So that was nice. I was like, ooh, double anxiety attacks 2 weeks in a row. It's exciting.
It's gonna get worse for you, Sam.
I know, but I'm ready for it. So does anybody have any impossible questions in the chat that need a terrifying answer? Let's see. Who we got out here? We got DJ Donnelly, Uncle Beer, Dan Shine. Who's that? Orc.
Maybe Orc should just do the audiobook. He can play every character.
Just for us, though. Not for public distribution.
No, Lauren might have to just break down and start a Patreon for that one.
I think Patreon would just like kick him off now. Zombie 7979. Always nice to see Zombie.
Yes.
And yeah, I think I saw some Visit by Voices. No idea who that is. All right, well. If we don't have any questions in the chat, well, we're going to close up shop. But next week we're finishing the book.
Yes.
So, and in case you're following along at home, it's page 300 till you're out of pages. Just keep reading until you're done.
Just keep going if you want to keep up with us.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to, hop on a stream, just DM me or Lauren. Usually Twitter's the easiest way to get in touch with us. Lauren's at Lauren Dixon. I am at SheebyGeebies. Just replace the double E's with 3s. And you can also just look me up by looking for Lousy Smarch Carlson. Because that's my nickname for this month. Now, if you're watching,
hard to find. I'll try and tag you, and it's like, wait, who is she now?
No. I know.
Many faces of Sam.
Too many. So next time, same bat time, same bat channel. It's going to be a big celebration because it's like we finished the book. I'm so excited. But I feel like we're just going to have so many questions. Oh no, I feel like I feel like this is one of those situations where we should have like an end of the year pizza party, like back in elementary school.
Ah.
That's how this feels, like that level of like party time. So
I'll plan it out, and you can watch us eat on stream. That works for next week.
Oh, joint pizza party. You could do that.
There
do
you
they have
go.
Pizza over where Mike lives? I'm an ignorant American. I'm so sorry.
They don't have Peeps, man. Like, I'm sending Mike a package at some point. No Peeps?
I don't think you can ship hazardous waste overseas though.
No. Can hide it in something. Or don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's still kind of, it's still kind of fun to put the Peeps in the microwave for a few seconds just to watch them explode.
Mm-hmm.
I can just customs breaks open one of those Russian dolls, and it's like, what is it? Crack, meth? It's Peeps. Dude just eats it.
Like, just the pink ones.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here for the week, guys, but please feel free to join us for a big super celebration for when we finish the book. But then, we'll probably still be talking about this for a while because it's going to be on my mind. I'm still going to be trying to figure answers out. And I'm like going to be on stream with Lauren, just like busting in with unrelated questions about it. So that I'm sure that'll be fun for him. Anyway, next week, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. But until then, y'all have a very fun rest of your weekend. Bye.